everyone, welcome to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Teresa. I'm a surface pattern designer and watercolor artist. A few weeks ago we painted some Easter cards, and that was so much fun that I would like to stick with that theme for just a little while longer. I am going to paint for you a little Easter bunny rabbit. Now if you would like to paint along with me, you don't have to paint a bunny rabbit, you can paint any animal that you would like. Just find yourself a good reference photo and sketch it out. I'm just going to walk you through my process for painting cute little whimsical characters. Let's go have some fun. I've sketched mine onto a piece of paper and taped it to a board because we are going to use a lot of water, and so I know it will make my paper buckle. So I've taped it down. And we will be using raw sienna and burnt sienna, and I'm going to mix up a combination of both of those. You know, if you ever want to use two colors and you need a medium tone between those two colors, just mix those two together and that will give you a nice medium between the two. And you can ensure that way that all your colors are going to blend well. If you add a little bit of at least one of the colors to your new color, then it will help it blend. So I typically don't sketch out my florals, but with animals I definitely sketch out my animals because I want to make sure that they are proportionate. I'm not very good at freehanding animals because I'll get them lopsided or something, so I've sketched this one out. He's still going to be very loose because I am using a lot of water, and I think that was the raw sienna. Now I will put a little burnt sienna in there, especially in the areas where I want some shadow. So around the bottom of his ears, and maybe around the edges of his ears just a little bit. And I would like to add just a few little hair-like projections. So I'm going to go to my 000 and just add a few of those. Maybe up around the top. Just tiny, tiny, tiny. Let's go to the other ear. And I'm trying to do this fairly quickly just because when I take too much time, and this is just me personally, but I start fussing over little details and it's too much. I do better if I just keep moving. But if you were someone who does better when you take your time and go very slowly, well, that's fine. Then go slow. Do whatever works for you. And I need some of that burnt sienna down here, like the other ear. And I want that burnt sienna around the inside of his ear, just because it gives a little bit darker detailed line. One more of that, I'm not getting enough. And that's probably a little too much, but that's okay. We'll feather that out. And add just a few little hairs. I don't want to do too much. Too many and he starts looking a little bit too woolly. And I'll come back and do some darker ones in here in a minute. I might add a little Vandyke brown to this. I like that brown, that Vandyke brown in there. I think adds some depth. Okay, let's let that dry and then we'll come back in just a minute. Okay, for his face, I want to leave some white down the center. So I'm just going to fill in this kind of spotty. Take it all the way up to that line where his ear is, and be careful around the eyes. I usually like to do the eyes first, but when I'm doing it this loosely, I usually wait till the end just because I don't want to accidentally touch the black and the black run into the fur. So, and I usually leave a little white around the eyes because rabbits kind of have that whiteness a lot of times. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. And we can just do it spotty like this. And I want his nose to be primarily white. Might bring it in a little bit for some definition. Go under the eye there, and I'm going to get my number 1 to get it on the other side of that eye and to fill in these little hairs that are sticking out. Okay, I'm gonna do the inside of the ear now. I've mixed up Holbein's Shell Pink and Winsor Newton's Quinacridone Magenta. Oops. To get a light pink. My brush was dirty. So again, very watery. I'm just going to butt it up against that line. And I'm going to try not to touch that pencil line, just so I can erase it. So the ear's pretty easy. I'm just going to drop in some darker tone, you know, the more concentrated mixture of that down at the bottom, and then we'll leave it lighter at the top. I might put just a little bit along the inside though. Now, okay, now I want a little bit of that for the inside of his nose. And for his tongue. And I'm going to come back and outline this area, so it'll stand out more. But right now I just want to get the pink in there. And I might do his tongue just a little darker just so we can be sure to see it. It's very tiny. And I think I'm going to put just a little pink in here on his cheeks. Just a tiny, tiny bit. And over there as well. Oops, that's a little dark. I keep getting this one either too dark or too light. There, that's better. Okay. And that'll look better once we outline it. Same thing with his eyes. When we outline it, it'll be great. Okay, let's do his body. Again, we're going to be very watery. The raw sienna. And I really want to leave some white on his chest. So I'm just going to concentrate on his arm here, this first arm. Start dropping in some darker color under his chin. Maybe go to that burnt sienna for under his chin. And let's get this smaller one. Fill that in just a little bit. Till they come to a point. There we go. And maybe a little darker around his feet. Okay, I'm going to soften this edge just a little bit. So I'll clean my brush, take a little clean water, and push it back just a little bit. And we'll come back and do that again when it's dry, like we did up here to make that softer. Okay, now let's get on this arm. Quickly fill it in. That little elbow there. Just dropping in color. Being aware of his belly here, because we want to keep that white. But I think I want a little darker down his back. So I'll add some of that burnt sienna. Put it under his neck too, because we put burnt sienna over there, so we want to do it over here too. And I want to put burnt sienna under this arm for a shadow. I'll come back and work on that some more in a minute. First, let's finish this up. And I'm moving my brush in hair-like motions. And I'm trying not to just paint solid, which can be kind of difficult because you want to just, I want to just color it in. I have to keep reminding myself, just don't be so precise about that. I'm gonna extend that leg out a little bit, I think. Yeah, I like that a little better. And now let's go to this side of the leg, keeping that belly white. And so this will be a little darker over here. Oop. That's a lot darker. Let me get this. Where's my one? I'm going to blend that down part of the belly, but I want it separate from the leg there. Let's get this foot. And it'll be a little darker under here too, because that's in the shadow. This foot looks pretty smooth to me, so let's add some little fur type strokes. Get outside that. There we go. Just a little bit, and I'm going to add some of that burnt sienna right here. That's pooling right there. So as you're working, just keep fine-tuning as it's drying, and you see where it's getting lighter and where you may want to add more shadow. I don't really care for the way that's pooling right there, but if I start messing with it too much, I could mess it up. So I'll just try to spread it out a little bit. I want to add a little more under his face. So I'm going to re-wet that to add a little depth under his eye. I don't want too much. Okay, same thing over here. I'll just get that a little bit wet under the eye. Take more of that raw sienna that's not so watered down. And now I'll wipe it back up. And I really need to turn this. Oops, so sorry. Really needed to turn that paper so that I could reach that better, but oh well. I just want to soften that edge right there. I don't want him to look like he has a black eye. Well, yeah, that's better. Okay. All right, let's let this dry, and then we'll come back again. Okay, I could do his tail now, but I'm afraid I'll put my hand in it. So let's do some hair in his ear and on the top of his head. Now I'll need something kind of dark for up here because his ears are fairly dark. So I have mixed up some of the raw sienna and the burnt sienna, and I want to add just a touch of Vandyke brown to that to deepen it a little bit so that we can see it against that. Now I could just use straight Vandyke brown, but that might be too harsh, you know, too much of a difference. So let's try it first with mixing it. See, that's going to be perfect. Dark enough to stand out without being too dark. And so I'll do just a little bit inside his ear. Okay. And I'm gonna wait till that dries, and I might go over one or two of those again. Now to decide what color do we want to outline the mouth. We could go with that, but that might be too dark. So I think I'm just going to go with a little bit of the raw sienna, but not very watery. I'm gonna do it pretty thick so that it'll be pretty dark. I'm gonna have to put my head down here so I can see it. Okay, we can go into his eyes now. And I'm going to use Winsor Newton Chinese Black. It came in this palette, and I love this palette, but this is, boy, I don't know, 7 or 8 years old, and I haven't seen this palette since. And these are not the original colors that came in it. A few of them are, but I've replaced a whole lot of them. Some with other colors, so especially these little smaller ones, as you can see. But the Chinese Black did come with the original set, and I've used it a lot. I can't believe that it's lasted me so long. I haven't seen this set in years. I wish I could find it again because this was a really good set. I love this palette too. It holds more paint, but this was a good set. Okay, I'm probably going to have to get really close again. All I'm going to do is outline his eye, and I'm only using that black. And that black is really good because it's not very, very, very opaque. In fact, if you just do it lighter and then come back and do 2 or 3 layers on top of it in certain areas, you can get a nice shadowy effect. So that's what I'm gonna try for. And I'll leave some little white spots for his eyes. I mean, for the glare in his eyes. Now let's do some, oh, I forgot his tail. Okay, we have to do the tail. I'm just going to use my number 1. Yeah, and the raw sienna again. And again, I would just want little strokes. Okay, that's probably good enough. Now let's go on to the flowers so that this little bunny is not so lonely. Okay, well that's it for our little bunny. When I turned the camera off, I realized I'd forgotten the little guy's whiskers. So I went ahead and gave him some whiskers since I was gonna have to get close to the paper anyway, but that finishes him off. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope you picked up some tips for painting animals. If you have any questions, please pop them in the comments below. Thanks for watching and have a great day.